I am Ultimecia.
Does she still do the K thing?
I don't think she says... Nope.
Nope.
That's really weird.
See, when you have an end-all be-all person who wants to like destroy the world, I always I always understand better if the person's like Frieza from DBZ. I want to be the head ruler of the entire universe and everyone will bow to me, right? Like, that makes sense, but I don't understand her like logic of being like I want to compress time and nothing to exist. It's like, why?
I think it would have made sense if, like, Ultimecia was, like, she's so powerful because she was possessed by some sort of, like, elder god or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, she's really powerful, but she, like, has a compulsion to stop time or whatever. Hello?
Guys, the best thing ever just happened right now.
Oh my god.
I think that was 7, by the way.
Oh
yeah.
It's over.
So the best thing ever just happened. The Eagles somehow just went and lost to the New York Jets. I'm thinking today just got a lot better, folks.
Were they like,
The Eagles are 5-0 and considered like one of, if not the best team in football.
But now they're 5-1.
And now they're 5-1. And the
awesome.
Jets, have you heard of Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback?
Yeah.
He was the Jets quarterback and he got hurt like literally the 3rd play of the season. I'm not joking, for like the entire year. And their quarterback is not very good at all, and yet they somehow just beat them. I'm thinking based. I'm thinking the rest of my night's going to be pretty good. And you know the best part about working in retail? For one whole week, I don't have to hear people talk about the stupid Eagles.
Because they're embarrassed.
Absolutely based. This music is awesome.
Yeah, I love this music.
Why are there 2 Ultimecias?
Sometimes there's... Okay, that one's dead. Whoops. And sometimes you can't even, like, attack all of them? I don't know. I don't know how this fight works at all. Nice shot of your boobs.
No!
Matters. The only... Yeah, Angelo! Finish this fight! It's not over.
Hi, Angelo being in time compression.
Yes, literally.
Deep in Ultimecia's castle, wherever the heck they are in the universe right now. Hey, Angelo. Hey.
So you can see that she's dead, but now it's just dialogue. And now she has more health again. I'm gonna use Aura and Renoa. Let's have some fun. Okay, that does not matter at all. Whoops. I wasn't paying attention. Okay.
Your sensation. So what, she just, at this point, she's just saying random crap.
She might also...
Reflect on your childhood.
I'm gonna use fast ammo next time to see if she literally has 1 health. Yeah! Combine! Angelo! The worst one. So Noah has a bunch of different Angelo attacks. There's actually a multi-hit one, but it's like she needs to be at like crisis level 4 to do it. She literally has 1 health. This fight is so weird.
And
It's over.
does she end with the word "and"?
Yeah, dude.
See, I don't understand that. Like, was she trying to be nice to us? Reflect on your childhood and think of your emotions and... like, okay. That's pretty based.
Yeah. The rest of this game is, like, kind of Kino. It's like, yeah, it's Kino. It doesn't make any sense. This is like Kingdom Hearts tier storytelling.
Oh, is she, like, upside down in there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It reminds me a lot of, I don't know if, like, Nomura just, reused the idea, but, the one, Aeon in Final Fantasy X, oh man, what's his name? Or what's her name? I don't remember. But it's the same thing where it's like you have the top half and then the bottom half is another person.
Is it over?
Let's go. Let's go back to our time. Sure. Where are you? Is there air there? Is there anything?
Heck. Heck.
Do you remember at the end of the, because you watched Dragon Ball Super, at the end of the Goku Black arc, when the universe gets erased by Xeno, and, like, Goku somehow uses the time machine to go back to non-existence? That's how much logic we're working with right here.
Right.
Not only can Goku go back to non-existence with a time machine, but he, like, exits the time machine and just exists. It's like, what is going on,
I
dude?
want to go there. Yeah, it's like, it's even
The
like
Goku-
that SpongeBob episode where they go to the future and past. And
The
all
Goku Black arc is the most nonsensical, like, least satisfying arc in all of Dragon Ball.
Heh.
Heh.
What about Garlic Jr.?
I mean, that's like filler, like non-canon garbage.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I guess you could say that any of the movies, like, I mean, Bio Broly is horrible.
Right.
Where am I?
Who am I?
The
What
big
am
problem with, like, the Goku Black arc is that, like, no matter what they do, it's like, you finally, like, defeat him with, like, but then he just becomes infinite Zamasu and, like, controls the entire universe, and they're like, we have to destroy the universe because he's gonna spill over somehow. And then they just use the I win, I have Xeno at my beck and call button. It's such a stupid arc. I hate Dragon Ball Super.
Base.
I know Spencer likes it, but I see that it.
I definitely liked the beginning with Beerus, and I definitely liked the tournament part.
Excuse me, have you seen a little boy?
Short black hair. Got him. It's also Silent Hill.
Are you ready for the dumbest contrived time loop paradox ever? I also can't control the text boxes. It's Ultimecia. Sorceress.
Walking.
I really like her slow walk. That's awesome. It's okay. There's no more need to fight. You sure? Just looking for someone to pass her powers on to. This is how Edea gets her sorceress powers. In order to die in peace. The sorceress wants to be free of all her powers. But does she have to die in peace? Can't you just kill her?
Wait, does that mean Edea doesn't die in peace because she didn't hand over her powers?
She handed over her powers to Renoa. And then Renoa had all the sorceress powers transferred to the past by L.
I still don't fully understand. Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like I said, it's Kingdom Hearts tier storytelling. Is this the end?
Wait, so it's like a time loop?
Yeah.
Mm.
So, Squall beats Ultimecia in the future. Ultimecia goes to the past, gives her powers to Edea, creating a time loop with no beginning or end. So it's just like, if you think about it, like, all the characters, I think I talked about this before, but there's a point in a Time Crisis game, I think in Future Perfect, where the main character has to do like 5 individual roles where he sees like 4 pieces of himself do like different things, and eventually, just through like time causality, he eventually becomes those future people to do his specific role. But when you think about what's happening in context, it's a cycle that's going to continue forever because there's no beginning or end. Because when you're in the future, you're seeing your past selves, and when you're in your past, you're seeing your future selves. So it's like a self-contained time loop that is going to exist forever, and it just doesn't make any sense. And that's exactly what's happening here.
No, sir. I don't like it.
And that's, I think, I haven't read the Renault's Ultimecia. It's not as compelling as the Squall is Dead theory, but sort of the reason why Ultimecia might be able to exist is because of this dumb time loop that makes no sense, that Renault always gets her powers over and over.
Great. Time loops where nothing matters at all.
Yeah.
Kill.
It's just another thing that, like, I don't think the plot makes any more sense because of it. It just adds a bunch more questions and nonsensicalness.
Not a...
They could have just said that there's a sorceress and Edie is the sorceress, and it's from Ultimecia from the future. I don't think they needed this time loop thing.
It always calls out questions that can't be answered at that point, like, who's the first sorceress? Who's the last sorceress? Yeah. So, it's questions that don't need to be answered, because, like, you could just be like, if someone's like, who's the first sorceress? It's like, it doesn't matter. Eventually someone became a sorceress, right? Like, but when you do a time loop thing, it's like, oh, okay, well, there has to be a last sorceress then?
So, who's Ultimecia? Well, she's the sorceress that she exists in the future, and she can exist in the past because she went to the past to give Edea her powers when she was dying. But she already exists in the future. But she dies in the past. It literally, it makes my brain explode.
Yeah. Oh.
So Ultimecia exists and has her time sorceress powers because she is and always will be in existence.
Yep.
In a continual loop.
This is, by the way, the entire disc 4 on PS1. Yeah. Is this cutscene?
This cutscene really is just like a marvel for the time. Like, this was 1999.
Yeah.
The amount of this, it's bold. This must have cost so much money to make.
I mean, they certainly made a lot of money from FF7, so they were like, all right, put it into 8, baby.
But like, no other game in the series, like Final Fantasy X, doesn't have anything of this caliber.
I do not believe 9 does either.
No, not even close.
And 7's final cutscene's like 10 minutes long? 5-10 minutes long? Like, it's pretty good for the time, but it's nothing like this.
Yes.
Dude, I'd be so annoyed if my shoes made those jingling noises every time I walked.
Yeah.
Hey, check out my shoes. They have zippers on them or something.
Also, Squall, even though Squall's dying, he cannot take off his jacket. Looking cool is too important.
At least when they find my body, I'll look cool.
Exactly. I gotta keep my gloves on. I gotta keep my jacket on. I'm dying of dehydration and energy loss, but it doesn't matter.
Bruh.
Again, I'm just thinking about it. It's like, why does Ultimecia have Griever as a GF? Why? Griever is just Squall's lion necklace ring thing. That's all it is. Griever is nothing else. That's why, like, why? It doesn't make any sense.
And I mean, that's one of the symbols for 8. I mean, it's on the title screen.
Yeah. That's why I do kind of, I don't know. There's no answers. They've talked about, like, they've asked, like, people in interviews about, like, is Ultimecia Renault, and they never confirm or deny anything.
Yeah.
Probably because they just don't give a crap.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where there's like really cool questions, like based on endings, like Inception. You know, Inception at the very end where they spin the top, and it cuts before we know if the top stops spinning or if it keeps spinning. If I remember correctly, if the top stops spinning, it means you're in reality, and if it continues spinning forever, it means that you're in like the dream world. So you don't know at the very end if you're in the dream world. And that's kind of cool, right? But it's like one question. It's not like a million things.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't involve technically any time.
Yeah. Anything time related, but like Ultimecia is like the ultimate time paradox that like not only do her powers exist because she always existed and is always fated to exist because of a time loop, but they just further compound it by randomly giving her Griever, which makes literally zero sense.
Yeah.
And now this, I guess like just Squall's going insane. I don't know what's happening.
You name Griever, right?
Yeah.
In that one cutscene outside the garden, and then that, regardless of what it's called, that's what she calls it at the end, right? Yeah. Okay.
So if you literally named it Poop Butt, you would have thought Poop Butt as the final boss.
Pretty based.
I should have done that.
Jod, the ultimate GF.
Alright, it's coming up. It only happens for a split second. It's happening. It's soon. Here we go. Oh, one frame
Of what?
the Squall, the faceless like void like face Squall. Like, you know, when he has just like a big black cutout as a face. It's literally one frame in this FMV. But I guess you missed it.
I was really focusing too.
Yeah.
But if it was one frame, I probably saw it. I'll slow it down when I'm watching the actual video. But they also showed Renoa and Ultimecia in the same part when they were switching between.
So I don't know. I guess that's like maybe that's what you're supposed to get out of this, but it really just.
What if
Renoa actually being Ultimecia doesn't make any sense either.
So, I would understand. I'll say this: I would understand if there can only be one sorceress at a time, right? Like if a sorceress dies and gives her power to the next person, and it just continues forever, right? But there can only be one at a time. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I get that. So technically at that point, Renoa is Ultimecia, but then Renoa is Edea, right? Everyone's everyone, right? But the thing is, Adele also exists.
Yeah, I was about to say, like...
So there isn't just one sorceress at a given time.
If Adele didn't exist, the transfer of power would make complete sense, because it'd be Ultimecia in the past gives it to Edea, and then when you beat Edea in Ultimecia Garden, then Edea gives the power to Renoa. And, like, that would make sense, but, like, Adele, like, why does Adele exist?
Right. And I would honestly understand it a heck of a lot better if that was the case, right? If they just said, hey, when a sorceress dies, her power gets transferred to the next in line. That's very simple, right? But it means a lot, too. And that's a tale as old as time. It's like, passing, if we're going to pull an MGS2, passing your genes on to the next generation and stuff like that, right? It makes sense. But, again, Adele, that really throws a wrench in it, because Adele and Edea definitely existed at the same time, right? Like, they had to have. Hello, waifu.
I just don't understand it at all. Why does Adele even exist?
I like how Cypher wasn't executed.
Yeah, Cypher kind of gets out scot-free, even though he definitely was a Ultimecia Garden general that killed lots of people.
So now that
but I guess he's redeemed.
Now that Ultimecia's dead, he's not under her power, so he's just like a normal jerk kind of thing.
I guess so. I guess that's what it's supposed to be. But like Cypher again is another like plot point where like you fight him at the end of Disc 3, and if like you have Odin, like Gilgamesh technically does like the final blow, but he gets like blown away, and then you don't see him again until this ending FMV where he's like redeemed, I guess. I don't know. Laguna, Rainn.
Rainn is Squall's mom.
Oh yeah, I think we were confused like last sit down or the sit down before about Squall's parents. We were kind of like spitballing like theories, but it seems pretty conclusive that Laguna and Rainn are Squall's parents.
But if that's the case, why don't they go into it at all?
I don't know. This plot is a complete mess.
But like, you meet Laguna, and they could have had a point to just been like, I have something to tell you. I've been a bad dad, but I'm your dad, or
he
whatever.
kind of does the opposite, where if you speak to Laguna in the Ragnarok, he's like, once this is all over, I have something to tell you. So it's like kind of the complete opposite, where he wants to like maybe reveal it later.
And that makes sense why you get to do, and especially with Alone, you get to like do the Laguna flashbacks, because Squall's Laguna's son and all that. But
and that's how Alone knows Squall.
You can literally go through the entire game without knowing that, because they barely hint at it.
But the like the chain of events makes complete sense. At some point, Elle gets kidnapped by the Esther soldiers, and Laguna wants to set out to Esther to save her. And at that point, Rainn is pregnant, but Laguna leaves, and Rainn eventually gives birth and then dies to an illness. And Laguna can never leave Esther because he becomes the president. So that's why Squall and Elle get sent to an orphanage.
Which again, like
it makes sense in context, but like when you're playing the game, they don't explain this like almost at all.
We literally wouldn't have even thought about it if Trevor didn't randomly talk to Kyros, who said a throwaway line.
Like, thank God that you look more like your mother or something like that. I guess Squall does look like Rainn a little bit.
But, yeah, what the actual crap?
But even in this ending FMV, like, Laguna and Squall don't meet up.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's so many, like, it's so unsatisfying. Now, there is a cutscene after this, so it's only like a couple minutes, so just be patient.
Nobuo!
At least we get to see this.
Hey, that is the Nomura, right? That is the Nomura.
Yeah,
Tetsuya.
Yep.
Yeah. Quistis, just accept Irvine.
Quistis is best FF8 girl.
I think I'm ready to retire. The Quistis at like 19. I'm ready to retire now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna become a spinstress.
If there was ever a FF8-2, she would be like 25 and she'd be like...
What?
She would have like crow's feet and like be smoking and be like, I'm too old for this.
Boo! Boo that man.
Yeah, Sid sucks.
Worst character.
I'm just gonna go hang out with my wife, Edia.
And at this point, he could, but he did it. He gave up halfway through. He's like, oh yeah.
Also, Edia looks the exact same as now as in the past, except for some reason.
Kind of weird. I mean, I understand wearing her same stuff, but like...
I guess, like, Squall in the past, it's only like 10 years probably. Like, Squall's like 18, and in the past he's probably 8.
So she would be like 30, 35.
So she might be like 40 now, and in the past she's 30. So I guess, like, you don't change that much when you're like that old.
Yeah,
classic FF theme, by the way.
I really, really wish they would have done a little bit more with Laguna and Squall. Even at the end cutscene, it shows like it shows Laguna going up to Squall. You know what I mean? But I don't think they do that at all.
It's just Laguna going up to Rainn's grave. That ending part of Laguna giving Rainn the ring, and Rainn giving the ring to him, it's cool, but I wish there was just a little more. Oh, girl with a pigtail won! She's sitting right next to Zell. You can barely see her. There we go. Girl with a pigtail who's not even named in the game won the Zell Bowl!
Zell died.
Yeah.
What the crap? Why is he so mad?
I don't know. Like, was he choking for a second and then he just decided to stop choking? Angelo.
Pupper. Oh, so, I don't know if anyone else does this, and I apologize, but since dogs, I've been watching Frasier, which, by the way, is super kino. Is there something after this, or is this
yeah,
just...
there is.
Okay. And there's a dog in it, and every time I watch that, I'm like, that dog's been dead for 20 years, and that sucks.
Rip.
I hate that stuff. Or, like, watching an old movie from, like, the 70s, and you're like, rip Pupper! Rip Catter!
Do you think about, like, AVGN's Black Cat when you're watching, like, the,
Oh, yeah, because that was, like, 15 years
yeah, it's
ago.
definitely dead.
There's no way, yeah. I think I remember reading that they had to switch... The dog's name is Eddie in Frasier, out, like, twice or 3 times. Because they got too old or sick. Or
How long did
whatever.
Frasier last?
Like 9 seasons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. That's why it's so tough to make shows and stuff with animals and kids. Like Stranger Things, when it started in season 1, the kids were like 13. Now they're like 20. And it's only going to be season 5, the last season.
Yeah.
And they have to be like, you know that meme where it's like, hey, here's that kid I was telling you about. And it's
oh, they're
like,
still, like, the same age? That's so
they're
awkward.
like, they're still in high school, but
Yeah.
they're all like, definitely in their early 20s. So they like, there's some time that passed, but they're definitely still in high school. And the one kid, Lucas, is like, clearly went through puberty and a growth spurt, and he's like, hey, I'm Lucas now. And he was like, literally just like a kid in a D&D group kind of thing. And it's like, alright. I mean, they make it make sense, but it's also not like you can be like, oh, it's 5 years in the future. That's why we started watching One Piece, the anime, and I don't know if the kid playing Luffy, I think is the main guy's name, is a kid or is an adult, but I worry about that because, like, the whole point of Luffy is that he's, like, very young and naive and silly and...
Oh, you watching the Netflix adaptation?
Yeah. It's pretty good so far, honestly.
I would say that if they continue the Netflix adaptation, there is a 2-year time skip, so that's
okay.
kind of advantageous, I guess.
I will say, I forget his name. I think it's Buggy, but Buggy the Clown, the goat.
Buggy is still relevant 1,000 chapters later.
That's so insane.
There's a lot of characters.
I kind of liked Axand. He was all right. Like, he was fine. It was a good, like, introductory bad guy at least in the show. But Buggy was only in an episode. Spoilers, they cut him up and put him in, like...
Yo, his smile restored.
Yes!
But yeah, I don't know. I'm never going to watch a Netflix adaptation. I have zero interest. But One Piece is a really weird show where each arc is, like, a very, like, segmented, like, island. And a lot of times, like, the characters in it just kind of... They never disappear, but they're never really relevant again. But Buggy is one of the few that's still relevant.
Good. All I know is I want a devil fruit, or demon fruit, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Give it to me to make me a Giga Chad with the biggest chin ever. With a chin of steel.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, guys.
We did it, gents. This
That was
LP is
FFA.
finally over.
So I guess they somehow get back. They don't explain it. Whatever. They just get back to their own time.
Squall, like, goes back to... Not only does Squall go back to the past when he's a kid, but he somehow wills himself to go back into the future. How you explain that in any sort of logic, I have no idea.
But the one thing I will say is, it's hard to find. Most FF games generally have happy endings, but that one is about as happy as you can possibly get. Like, everyone gets the thing. Like, Squall gets Renoa. Even Zell is with Pigtail Girl. Irving's still Irving, and Quistis is having fun, and Selfie's having fun. And
it
all
seems
that.
like Selfie is going to get with Irving too because she's wearing his hat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. And like I said, we've talked about it for literally probably 20 hours at this point in the thing. But the only thing that I really missed with that, just sitting here 20 years after the fact, is I wish they would have done something with Laguna and Squall.
Yeah.
If you're going to heavily hint or even flat out say Laguna is Squall's dad, you just put something in the last like 5 minutes just to show. All I need to see personally is Laguna walking up to Squall at the party and just being like, hey, like gesturing to come over here and talk to him. Like, that's it. Yeah, hey, whatever. But like, just to show something, you assume it happens, but at the same time, Laguna is such a bad dad and a bad parent that you're like, maybe it literally never happens.
Yeah, world's worst father.
So, yeah, overall, we've said a million times, I hope you really enjoyed this. It'll probably be a while before we do a playthrough again that is this long.
Yeah, I've nothing
as Trevor literally starts another but
like, I love RPGs, but I don't want to subject Spencer to like random RPGs he doesn't care about. Like, F of 8 is a very particular game to both me and him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's a very interesting game. It's a very nostalgic game. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna do like another JRPG again. We'll see though.
Maybe it'll be something that I know or I'm interested in. Anyway.
Because we only do LPs like once or twice a week, and we like LP like at max like 3 hours a week. It's like, it literally takes us like, what did this take us, like 2.5 months?
Something like that, yeah. Wow. All right, so we'll see you next time. Have a good one, and look forward to more FFs sometime way in the future. Bye.